Welcome to the Dental Business Guide podcast. From money to marketing to management, this podcast will help you run a better dental business.
Right, brilliant. So I think my name's Aaron, and I've been dealing with dentists for almost 20 years. For my sins, I married a dentist 21 years ago. And we're still married. So we're still. I'm still helping dentists, even if it's just my own wife. But I help many others as well through the Samera business. Now I appreciate it's a hot and sticky evening. It certainly is down here in Surrey tonight, and the last thing you probably want to be thinking is about finance. And so I'm going to try and make this relatively short and sweet, okay, but at the same time relevant to you, okay? So I'm just going to try and move on. So navigating your dental practice finances in 2021. So let's move on. So myself, as I mentioned, I'm the owner and CEO of Samera. We've been going, almost 20 years. We are accountants. We are commercial finance brokers. So if you need to raise finance, we can help you get finance. We are now, we are practice sales agents. And Gurpreet, who we'll talk a little bit later, he's started up our dental practice savings side of the business, where if you're looking to save money, he will actually help you save money on consumables and equipment and other items like that. But more for that later on. Working with dentists for many years, I'm a trained chartered accountant, and I used to work in banking for my sins before I entered the fray of dentistry. Now, I wonder if Nigel, are you here with us, Nigel? Bear with me a second. I'm trying to check if Nigel's joined us tonight. Nigel should be here, but I'm not too sure. So I will introduce him anyway, okay? And then he's got waylaid somewhere. So Nigel heads up our commercial finance side of the business. Experienced is understated, really. He has a lot of experience in financing dentists, whether you're acquiring a practice, whether you're growing your group, whether you need to raise money for cash flow. He has a wealth of experience in this. So I suppose we're very lucky to have him in our team. So that's Nigel. And then next one along, Gurpreet. Gurpreet's just new to the team. He's only been here with us a couple of weeks. So he's been thrown in at the deep end with me, trying to keep him busy and get clients saving money. But we're getting some good momentum on this now. And Gurpreet, what's your background? You just want to share with everybody?
Yeah, so I joined Samera from a supplier, basically. So been in the industry for about 10 years. And in that time, I've spoken to and saved many dental practices money. So I'm looking to bring that experience to Samera and, continue to save practices money, basically.
Sure. All right, brilliant. Thanks. So we'll look a little bit more on that a little bit later on this evening. Okay, but let me crack on. I'm going to try and keep this to a maximum of half an hour talk today because it is too hot and my dinner is getting cold downstairs. So little agenda here. I'll kind of go through this now, really. What we've seen here in the last 12 months is we've seen a divergence of practices out there. Some practices doing extremely well, even though I think this time last year, a lot of practices were very nervous about their cash flows. I remember doing cash flow statements and forecasts for, I don't know how many practices, but we did it for a lot of people. And they were worried, okay? But when practices could then recommence and open, certainly the private practices certainly grew and managed to get cash in quickly. And ever since, most private practitioners I've been talking to have done very, very well and surpassed their expectations. I know those in the NHS have been a bit more challenging, again, with various restrictions and various requirements to meet targets and a different way of doing things. But I think, again, we shall see what will happen in that arena. But my view is that ultimately, a pandemic hopefully is just a once in a lifetime experience for all of us. Okay, but it did highlight that you need to have a plan B or have access to cash in a plan B situation to actually help you in that situation. So just that's kind of what's happened in the last 12 months. Okay. Okay, I've just got a message here from Nigel. He is joining us, but I think he's just had a power cut by the looks of it. Hold on. Bear with me a second. The joys of modern technology. Okay, he can't join in. I don't think he's had a power cut. So don't worry, I will deal with it. And then, so, but one of the things that also highlighted from this whole situation was that there's an increasing need for better financial information. Then I'm going to talk to you about using cloud technology, which I think is really the basis of how you should be running your finances now in your practice. We'll talk a bit about cash flow, and then we'll talk about at the end where Gurpreet's going to talk about how you can save on your consumables. Okay, so there we a sec. So Nigel's had a power cut. It's too hot. I think the country's in meltdown, isn't it, really? So right, I'm going to change screens. I'm going to do a share of something else. Right, now hopefully you can see this. Okay, now this is a flow chart. Gurpreet, can you just tell me what you can see? I just want to make sure that we always have the right thing.
Navigating your finance function. So I'm a practice owner, and then it goes along.
Perfect. That's what we want to see. Okay, right. Thank you. So now what I've done here is tried to make it like a process. I may be an accountant, but my original degree was in engineering many years ago. So I've kind of gone with this engineering kind of workflow. So now, one of the things that we only recommend now in practices, okay, for all our clients out there, is that you've got to get onto the cloud. Now, people say, what is the cloud when it comes to accounting? Well, the cloud has literally revolutionized the whole accountancy industry. The technology is very, very good now. A few years ago, it was developing. It wasn't so good, but now there's no excuse really not to be on the cloud. And I'm going to explain how this all works so you get a better idea. So if you're a practice owner, okay, you may receive an invoice from a supplier. So let's assume you get an invoice from Henry Schein, okay? Now, how you receive that invoice is, well, what do you do with it? Where does it go? Now, you might receive it in the post, okay? Open it up, and then you look at it, and you stick it in a file. That's how most dentists still do it. But the way I'm going to try and get you to think about today is not to do it that way. Really, what you should be trying to do is get those invoices coming either electronically to you, okay, like a PDF, or you download them from, say, Henry Schein's website, or better still, they get emailed to a special kind of account on something called HubDoc. Okay, now HubDoc is, I'm not going to go into detail today because I don't have the time, but HubDoc is ultimately, you might have heard of something called Receipt Bank, you might have heard of other variations of this. It's effectively a scanning piece of software. So it will take if you take a photo of an item through your app on your phone, or if you scan it, or if you send an email with the attachment on it, it will take the key data from that invoice, i.e. the amount, the supplier, the due date, all these key information, okay, and extract that information using clever technology, okay? Now, what that means for you is none of that stuff has to be typed into a system, okay? And all that information can be extracted from that invoice, which can be a laborious thing if it's inputted by hand, but if you're using technology, it can save you a lot of time and money. So the ways of getting the information into HubDoc, either you scan it, you either take a photo of it on, say, your phone or iPad, or the most efficient way is the supplier directly emails HubDoc account, which is set up, specific email address, and that invoice goes into HubDoc. Okay, and what then happens? So that's step one and step two. Then step three is information is posted into Xero by, say in this instance, our team, our accountants. Okay, from HubDoc. So the information in HubDoc is then posted into Xero. Okay, and now Xero is the cloud accounting package. Now, if you don't know what Xero is, let me just show you. won't go into detail, but it's basically a XERO. It's an accounting software for for all businesses. By far, in my opinion, it's the best out there. It's easy to use. They're always updating it. It's very slick. There are others like QuickBooks and Sage and others, but I'm perhaps unbiased, but I think Xero's second to none out there. So that's what I would reckon. HubDoc with Xero. Okay. Now let me go back to my flow chart. Now the information is put into Xero. Now what does that mean? Okay, so from HubDoc, that means all the invoices, all that detail has gone into Xero. Okay. Then at the same time, let me get it across. I can see it. A bit weird. At step 4, in Xero, whether it's a bookkeeper or someone in your team or someone, the payment has to be made. Okay. Now, one of the things I always found quite laborious about making payments to suppliers was that I'd get the list from my bookkeeper, and then I'd have to go and make each individual payment to Henry Schein or Kent Express or Dental Directory or Associate A, Associate B, utility bills, and you'd have to make each of these individual payments. Okay, which is time consuming. Okay, which isn't particularly exciting. Okay, but we do it, and we did it, and I know the vast majority of dentists, vast majority of business owners still do that. However, now there's a new thing that Xero have introduced, and they're working with a company called Wise, which was used to be called TransferWise. Okay, and in my mind, this is an absolute game changer when it comes to managing your accounts payable or paying your suppliers, because it saves you so much time. What this actually does is TransferWise links up with Xero. And when I want to make a payment let's say I want to make 20 payments, okay, rather than have to make individual 20 payments, I just tick all the boxes, okay, all the suppliers I want to pay. I can see all of the PDFs relating to the invoices because they've all come in from HubDoc, because all the information from HubDoc has come across as well as the actual PDF itself. So I can check them before I do it. Then I can tick all 20 of them. And then all I then do is say, click pay with Wise, okay, and it then tells me there's a big balance and I have to pay a certain amount to Wise, okay. Now, what I've done in the meantime, I've set up in advance an account with Wise with Xero. So my company is set up with Wise, and I pay Wise, and then Wise's responsibility is just to pay all the individual suppliers. So I just make one payment to Wise, and then ultimately they take care and make all the payments to the relevant suppliers. Now that saves me hours upon hours upon hours per month, okay? And it's very slick, very efficient, and it's very easy. And so far, I haven't had any errors or problems with it. So strongly recommend you thinking about that, okay? Now, step 5 is once the invoice is paid, Xero matches the invoice with the payment, okay? Which is perfectly normal, which is the thing that's got to be done, okay? And then ultimately the bank account is reconciled at the month end. Now remember, with Xero, you're always importing the transaction from the bank. The bank is connected to Xero, all done in a very secure way. And then perhaps around every 3 months, they ask you to renew the connection for security reasons anyway. So remember this, you've got all the bank data coming in, you've made all your payments with Wise, okay? Theoretically, if you've set it up right and done it slickly, it's done in moments, okay? The bank reconciliation matching with the payments with Wise, as long as you're using one bank account, it can all work very seamlessly and very cleanly. Hugely time saving and hugely slick and hugely much more efficient for your practice. So let me move on to step 7. Let me get this working. Now, with all that time saving that you've made, okay, your job is then really to analyze the information. So when we do it for clients or for ourselves or any other businesses, we then look at management reports, okay? And the key reports are the profit and loss account or the balance sheet, cash flow statement, and then also the accounts payable, i.e. people we have paid, and maybe there are certain people we still owe money to, okay? So we produce management reports, and then, let me get to here. Step 8, we then review the reports and highlight any variances. So by virtually doing this on a month-to-month or even a quarter-by-quarter basis, okay, we can start seeing that what the performance will be, but we can also get an estimate of what we think the tax bill will be that has to be paid in January or whenever it needs to be paid. In addition, we can also start seeing if the business is actually solvent. Are they taking out too much cash when the profits don't actually justify it? So that's another thing to see in terms of solvency, because that ultimately helps you understand what's going on with the cash flow. Is there a cash flow issue? So that's another thing to consider as well. So now, what the real benefit here then is for you is as a client is if all this stuff is being done throughout the year, really, and again, it's really important to get this point correct though. The information coming in has to be done in the right way. It has to be sent in the right way. It has to be sent on a regular basis. But if you're doing all that, this exercise is done on a month by month or quarter by quarter basis. The annual accounts process at the end, at the year end, is actually very straightforward. Okay, the accounts can be done quickly, the tax returns can be done quickly, and also you can then work out what is my tax liability relatively swiftly to plan for that if you need to raise cash to pay for your tax liability. And then finally, step 10 is setting up budgets for your next financial year. And it ultimately assists with looking forward and, okay, where can I cut costs, or where can I save money, or what can I change my prices? So 10 steps there. I appreciate it's kind of heavy going and not much fun for a Wednesday evening, especially when it's hot and sticky. But what I'm trying to highlight here is the real benefits are it automates your whole finance function. Doing this will save you a lot of time and help you build your business by being able to focus on the more important aspects. If you automated it, you can focus on the marketing, the clinical care, the patients, the team, all those other aspects. The key is to actually get your back office automated so it's slick. Lenders will want to see this information. Increasingly, the lenders out there in the marketplace are trying to want to lend to you, and you might want to raise money. But if you've got access and up-to-date management information that they can log in and see on Xero, well, what's not to like, okay? And ultimately, it aids with knowing how you stand financially so you can make better and faster decisions based on the data. And then finally, if you do get involved with us, I'd like to say we're a pretty friendly team, and we kind of know our stuff, and we've been doing it many, many years now. But a lot of all this stuff, all this process and stuff that we've done here is as a result of what we've tried and tested at Smita's clinics, my wife's clinics, the Neem Tree, because we refine it there. Everything we do there, we ultimately ends up being a service that we provide to our clients at some point stage, okay? And because we've tested it, we know what works, we know what doesn't work, we know where the issues will be. So if you're not doing this, or a variation of this, or something similar to this, do something about it, okay? Change it, okay? Whether you come to us or not, that's irrelevant, okay? But do something about it. Make sure you know someone who knows what they're doing on this. We have a lot of experience in this, so please do ask. So, right, let me get back to my slides. If I can find them. Bear with me a second. So just in summarize, so the key bits of software to consider are HubDoc, that's the scanning software, and which reads all the information off the invoices. No data entry. You can put the phone, put it on. I've got the app on my phone, or you can forward it via email, or you can directly upload. So check out hubdoc.com. That will give you a bit more information. Keep going. Then, as I said earlier, Xero, live bank connection, bank reconciliations, capture the data as it integrates with HubDoc. And I think HubDoc is actually a Xero product now, because I think Xero bought HubDoc. So that's why it works really well. We used to use something called Receipt Bank, which wasn't so good. Well, it was good, but it just didn't link up as well. But now HubDoc is integrated with Xero, which just makes it so much easier. So check out Xero as well. So I've been talking 20 minutes. We've got 9 minutes to wrap it up. So now Nigel's going to be talking about this, so I haven't got him to talk about this, but I can give you a background of what's going on in the current marketplace. I think seeing in the current situation with lenders, there are obviously people wanting to buy clinics, people trying to expand. what we're seeing, if I look at the asset side of things, as we saw back in the last budget, Rishi Sunak announced a huge kind of incentive to invest. And now we're starting to seeing that coming through, where people are buying equipment, buying assets, and using those assets to expand and grow their clinics, which then allows them to get 130% deduction off their tax liability or tax bill of their profits, to reduce their tax liabilities. So that's certainly where lenders are really focusing their efforts. And those are more asset finance lenders, like the HP lenders, that type of thing. But then on the other side of the coin, when people wanting to buy or refinance their practices, we're seeing where there's certainly an active market, but the issue I think a lot of buyers are having, or people are having, is that obviously COVID was a funny year last year. It was a short year, or it was closed for 3 months. And so the banks want to see key data. So they want to see management information. They want to see how things are going. And sometimes if you don't have that information, the bank won't lend, okay, if you're trying to sell your practice to someone who wants to buy. So that's why having something like Xero in place only kind of makes it more important in this time, where the banks want to see information, or whether you're buying or whether even you're trying to expand. That's a really important aspect out there as well. But we're seeing a range of lenders enter the market, not just the normal standard people out there, but there are more and more lenders coming to the market, seeing the opportunity that there is in the dental sector and the wider healthcare sector as well. But the timeline to get deals done, I think it's certainly not a quick man's game. You've got to have the patience to stick it out and to keep going, really. Okay. So I won't dwell on this. Unfortunately, Nigel has had a power cut, so there's not much I can do about that. But we will do a finance update in a lot more detail in the next few weeks anyway. Okay. So now onto the final section of the day, saving costs. Saving costs. Well, what am I going to talk about? I'm going to keep this relatively short and sweet again. Right? So why would you save costs? Okay. Well, obviously it's to increase profit. Okay. To grow your profit, if you can cut your costs. Okay. But the real kind of winner, in my opinion, is down to valuation. Now, remember, if you understand how dental practices are valued now, they're pretty much valued on a multiple of EBITDA. Now, EBITDA stands for earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization. So what that actually means is if you save £1, okay, effectively your profit goes up by £1, and therefore your value of your business goes up by about 6 to 7 times, okay, on average. Might be higher, might be slightly lower, but the current market range of EBITDA multiple is in the 6 to 7 range. So for every £1 you save, your practice goes up by the value of, say, let's say £6,000, or £6. So if you save £1,000 a year on your accounts, your value of your business, effectively, if you were looking to sell, is £6,000. So let's look at it on a kind of a more numerical way. So this is a very basic argument here. So this is a practice turning over £1 million, has costs of 850, EBITDA of 150. Kept it very simple just to explain the situation here. Now you cut your costs. Let's say you cut your cost by 10%. Therefore, you manage to cut your cost by about £85,000. That increases your EBITDA to 235. That means an increase of 56%. Okay, which is great. Okay, but nice to see, wonderful to see. Okay, but the real, I suppose, benefit in this instance is the original profit was 150, or original EBITDA, and now if you cut it by 10%, it's gone up by 235, as I just showed you earlier. What that means in terms of multiple, though, in this example, the multiple has gone up from 900 to just over 1.4 million. Now, whatever stage you are in your practice, whatever stage of your career, okay, if you're looking to sell your practice, okay, it's absolutely fundamental to think about how can I window dress my business. Now, way of window dressing is to try and keep your costs as low as possible if you're looking to exit at a period of time. Now, if you can keep that cost low, maintain those costs low for a period of time forever, fantastic. And if you're looking to sell, then it's important for 2 or 3 years down the line before you sell, you get this exercise done, and therefore look at cutting your costs. Because as I said, every £1 will ultimately lead to a valuation increase of about £6, not something to be sniffed at. So that's why we've introduced a cost cutting or consumable cost cutting part of the business to Samera. We've already done it in our existing clinics, as I said earlier, the neem trees, and now we're kind of with Gurpreet's help, and now we're going to get we're rolling this out to clients dotted around the country. So Gurpreet, you're there. Do you want to quickly run through how this works?
Yeah, so it's pretty simple. Basically, a practice will send me, say, the last 2 or 3 months worth of invoices, and then I will go away and try and make them a saving on those products. Not only will I try and do a saving on those products, but in some cases I will, look to advise where they can be buying slightly smarter. What I mean by that is, throughout my experience of working for a supplier, especially with like NHS practices, a lot of them are using premium products. So it could be that, there's a product that costs them sort of half the price, and they're buying premium products, but it wasn't really meriting the cost of the treatments they were providing.
Right.
So especially for NHS practices, by, offering them maybe an alternative which will save them money, not only will it increase their profits, but like you say, it will add value to the business as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So
there's the
sorry, I interrupted.
Go on, sorry,
you carry on. I interrupted you. Gurpreet.
So just one example, NHS practice buying hydrogram alginate, and it costs them £6.99 on average. I know there's own brand alginates out there which will cost them roughly around about £4.95. And based on those figures, that's adding up to about £14 on the value of their business, which doesn't seem like a lot, but when you add it up to all the other bits and pieces that they'll be saving money on, I believe it will add quite a bit of value by doing this, taking up this service.
Yeah, no, agreed. No, so the way to do this, we Gurpreet basically knows all the suppliers out there, so his job is to broker the right deal for each of our clients out there. Now, it might even mean using your existing supplier, but negotiating better terms with them potentially as well. If you need any help, you can just reach out to Gurpreet. I'll give you some details at the end of this webinar. But it's called the Dental Practice Saver Service, and you'll find all the details on our website. Okay, so thanks.
And one thing, sorry, I forgot to mention is this service is like a no risk to any customers out there that wish to at least send invoices in, because if I can't make a saving, then it's not going to cost you anything. It's only if I can make you a saving that you think is worthwhile that we look to sign you up to the service, basically. So
no, absolutely.
It's a bit of a no
brainer. Yeah, 100%. It is a no-brainer. As Gurpreet highlighted, it's like it doesn't cost you anything to send in your invoice. You just need to be a bit organised. But again, if you had all your invoices in Xero, you could send them to him with one click. So there's a whole range of things to consider here. Is how can you save money, which ultimately leads to a better valuation for your business. And as Gurpreet said, it's definitely a no-brainer. So get in touch if you need some help. So just in summary, now as a firm, we are now dealing with over 600 clients for dentists across the UK. And if you're seeking a new accountant, don't hesitate to get in touch. We're taking on new clients literally every week at the moment. And our team is expanding at the same rate as the new clients coming on. So we've got a good team and we've got a good system of using it. But most importantly, we're automating a lot of this for clients as well to help them ultimately get the results they want in their businesses. If you want to know more about how to save tax, and we'll go into more detail about this whole automation as well and the systems, and do a proper demo with you, we've got an event coming up on July the 21st. It's on our events website, and it's an evening thing. Myself and Nathan, who kind of runs the whole accountancy side of the business, he'll be running that with myself, so you can check that out to join that. And then finally, we're here to help. I know a lot of people are all zoomed out, but we had quite a good turnout tonight by the looks of it. So if you've got any questions about anything, you can drop me an email. I'm here to help. My colleague Nigel, obviously, he's not here with us today, unfortunately. And then obviously Gurpreet on any kind of cost savings types of things. And really, we are pretty accessible. We do lots of Calendly calls and new meeting calls at strange hours of the day to fit around our client needs. So, but you can do that and book everything on our website. And we've got a new website, by the way. Okay, so any feedback on that would be greatly appreciated. Alex, my kind of developer in my team, he's been working hard at that. So thanks, Alex, for that as well. So thank you. I've managed to wrap this up in 32 minutes. In summary, 3 things to highlight. One is automate your accounts function using HubDoc0. And if you need any help, get in touch. We can do a demo for you, show how it works. We'll be delighted to do that. Myself, Nate, one of the other team members. Nigel for finance. Unfortunately, as I said, he can be here. And then obviously Gurpreet if you need to save any money on your consumables and equipment. Okay. Thank you very much. I'm not sure if there are any questions today. Maybe not today. Nothing kind of here. I know one question is asking if for the cost of the dental practice saver service. Yes, that is. We charge a fee of it's just £50 per month for a minimum period of 12 months. And again, as Gurpreet said, it's only chargeable if we think you can save you significantly more ultimately than the £50 a month that you're paying to us. Okay. Great. Thank you. All right. Enjoy the rest of your evening and have a great remainder of the half-term week. I'm going to go and eat some dinner and go and walk the dog. Okay. Thank you. Bye. Thanks, Gurpreet.
Bye.
Thanks for listening in to the Dental Business Guide podcast. We welcome your feedback, and if you're enjoying it, please let your friends know too. Until the next time on the Dental Business Guide podcast.